The big news from Chargers Park on Thursday is that tight end Ladarius Green does have a concussion. He was evaluated Wednesday after practice. It appears he suffered it in practice, and on Thursday it was announced that he does indeed have a concussion. Now, he hasn't been ruled out for Sunday's game against the Detroit Lions. Head coach Mike McCoy said if he's healthy, he'll play. My gut feeling is that there's a strong likelihood he will not play. You just don't want to take chances with concussions. Guys usually miss at least a week once they've been diagnosed with one, and with it coming on a Wednesday, it just appears unlikely he will play, but it's not ruled out completely, so we'll see. Offensive coordinator Frank Reich said today, look, this is a big opportunity for Ladarius with Antonio Gates being out for the 4-game suspension, but you still don't want to rush him back just because it's an opportunity. Now, they did re-sign tight end John Phillips after they let him go on Saturday in the 53-man cut. So John Phillips is back, and David Johnson, fellow tight end, said he for one is happy about that. Phillips is someone who's experienced with the offense. He's intelligent. Antonio Gates has said in the past that he's more of a pass catcher than people know and give him credit for. So look to the Chargers. They might use him in that pass catching role a little bit more, especially if Ladarius Green is out. But if not, it's also good to have him back, someone who knows the system and can just jump right back in before that home opener. The other thing to keep in mind is that Rivers has a lot of weapons on this offense. They should be okay. It stinks to not have Gates, stinks to not have Ladarius Green if he doesn't play, but they should still be all right with all the other weapons they've got on this offense. And I will point out, though, that it is a strange start to the season for this tight ends group. With Gates serving his suspension, David Johnson said, it is a little strange to not have Gates in the tight ends room. We're so used to leaning on him and asking him questions. But the show goes on. Now, as we near the first real game of the 2015 campaign for the Chargers, I remember something Eric Weddle told me a few years ago. He said the first game is always a wash, meaning the intangibles like the adrenaline and the nerves and how young guys are going to react. You just can't plan for that sort of thing. The biggest thing that you're hoping for is that there are no penalties, there are no big mistakes in coverage, things like that. But he said other than that, you're not really sure how it's going to go. I asked him today if he still feels that way, and he said, of course. He said, you prepare, you plan, but things like nerves, things like adrenaline, you just can't account for. And of course, that changes as guys get more comfortable as the season goes on. There's my little disclaimer for the first game of the season before people start tweeting me that the sky is falling. Just remember, the first game, just not sure, all right? A few other notes on offense. A unit that is going to be together for the first time for 60 minutes, the offensive line. Now, Frank Reich said today that this is going to be a good test for that offensive line, the first true experiment for 60 minutes. How is their communication? How is their physicality? How are they able to gel? And he added that while nothing in the NFL is permanent, he certainly hopes that this offensive line remains intact the way it is, with Fluker at right guard and Barksdale at right tackle. And the reason for that, he said, is chemistry. You want this group to build chemistry and keep chemistry, and you don't want to keep shuffling it around. Of course, injuries will happen, but if you can keep it intact for the most part, they're just going to keep improving and improving. Another guy on offense, Danny Woodhead. Reich said today that he looks stronger than ever, and I leave you with what he said about why Woodhead is so important to this Chargers offense.
Having him back is a quarterback's and offensive coordinator's dream, because he just does so much for you. There's so much he can do. He has unique contributions he can make to the offense. You know, we certainly missed him last year, but it seems to me that he's as strong, as quick, and certainly always as smart as ever.
That's it from Chargers Park. I'll have more for you guys on Friday as we get ready for Sunday's home opener. From Mighty1090.com, I'm Annie Heilbrunn.